Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a quick look at listening to and installing the Muffler Delete Axleback exhaust system with polished tips available for the 15 to 17 GT. You should be checking these out if you're very simply looking to delete the restrictive and volume muffling mufflers off of the factory catback in favor for just basically a straight pipe. As you just heard from our sound clips, I'm giving this 5 out of 5 on our loudness meter as far as axlebacks go. Goes without saying that of course you can't compare just an axleback or muffler delete to a full catback, but if you're just looking to get rid of those mufflers, this is going to be one of the loudest, if not the loudest option in the axleback category. Simply put, getting rid of the factory mufflers and replacing it with straight pipe removes any restriction at all that would minimize volume and aggression, so this is going to be as loud as it gets there. Now, as far as the sound here from the Muffler Delete, honestly, it sounds a lot like your factory catback, except just a lot more volume. The same sound profile, got the same kind of aggression, maybe a little bit raspier, but overall, it's really a volume thing when it comes to the Muffler Delete. Expect a ton of volume, especially at idle, and it's gonna have an extremely loud bark at wide open throttle. Hitting redline with this guy, we actually got a little bit more backfire with the Muffler Delete than we did with the factory catback, so there's a big difference there for the guys looking for a little snap, crackle, and pop. Now this pipe is made of 304 mandrel bent stainless steel, 304 being the highest quality materials in the category. Of course, it's going to be more corrosion and rust resistant than aluminized and even 409 stainless, so really high quality stuff here. You don't have to worry about them rusting out. Perfect for guys located in wintry weather areas like we are here in the East Coast. Now it's also 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing. The 2.5-inch matches up perfectly with your factory exhaust, but you are going to have to cut off your factory mufflers. That's just inevitable when you're talking about doing an axleback on the new S550s. You got to cut off the mufflers, and I'll show you guys that in just a little bit, but they match up perfectly as you can see here. Comes in right around 250 bucks. It's going to be one of the most affordable ways to modify your exhaust, especially when it comes to axlebacks. Typically they're just a couple of $100, but because it's just pipe with no muffler at all, it gets even more affordable there. Coming out the back, you get a different change up in tips. It's going to be a more traditional polished tip, but it's a little bit bigger. It's a 4-inch slash cut double walled polished stainless steel tip, so it's got that mirror like shine. Looks a lot like your factory one, just a little bit more aggressive and nicer looking at the rear end. Now, if you're not interested in the traditional polish, there are black options in the category as well if you're looking for a stealthier finish. Install. 3 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. It actually is an extremely simple install, but it does require some specialty tools like a Sawzall in order to cut off the factory muffler properly, so it beefs up the install for guys who don't necessarily have that experience on hand. Now with that said, it's literally just one clamp, so once you cut off your factory muffler and set it aside, you're just going to make one clean cut right about there, set it aside and clamp up the new pipe in just pretty much one step. The tip itself is separate, so you'll clamp that on as well. I'm going to show you guys every step of the process. It'll take you about an hour or two from start to finish, probably less if you have more experience. I'll walk you through that. Let's get started. Tools used in the install include an impact gun or a ratchet, extension, 14mm swivel socket is recommended, or a 14 straight deep socket, 13mm deep socket, and 16 deep socket 14mm wrench. Also not on the table here would be your cutting tool of your choice. I recommend a Sawzall. First up here, you want to grab your Muffler Delete pipe, which is basically going to go right under here on our driver's side. It's the same thing on the passenger side as well. What you want to do is line up where the tip will connect to the edge of the factory muffler, just like that. And you can see where the hanger would line up to the hanger above it. You want to follow this back here and mark where you're going to make your cut. Now, there are no measurements to be made in terms of measuring X amount of distance back from the muffler, so you're really just going to play it by ear, holding this guy up. Now, you don't want to cut at the edge here. You want to leave enough pipe on the factory exhaust for this to slide in. So use this little divot here where it steps up a size and use that as your marker. You would take your Sharpie, draw a line right there and make your cut through. Now we already have a pre-cut catback for our 15 GT here, so I'm not going to be cutting this one, but you want to make sure you're measuring twice, cutting once right here, and I'll swap this out and we'll continue. All right, so like I said, you'll make your cut, remove the axle back. Now the axle back is basically just the muffler. There's a hanger above the tip that you'll slide right out and set it aside. I swapped ours out for a pre-cut exhaust so we don't have to cut ours again, but that is basically what yours will look like. Muffler's missing, we just have that bare metal pipe where we cut it, and now we can install our Muffler Delete pipe. All right, so we got our factory mufflers off of our 15 GT and it's on the ground here next to our Muffler Delete with the new tips. Full disclosure again, guys, because we didn't want to cut our factory system again, I swapped it out for a pre-cut system. This is the full system that we took off of the car, but we're really just focusing on your mufflers, which you should have separately now on the ground. These factory mufflers, of course, are pretty restrictive. They're minimizing all the volume that you want to get out of your V8, and what better way to get all of the volume out of it than deleting them altogether? This pipe here is basically just straight pipe. It's gonna go from the under axle pipes straight back to the tips with nothing in between. There's gonna be no airflow restriction, nothing to minimize sound. You're gonna get all out rasp and a lot more punch. Now, another big difference is gonna be the tips themselves. Your factory tips aren't really much of anything. They're very thin, pretty much bare metal with a slash cut design. Not really that aggressive. Your new options are very similar, but they're a double walled, which means they're thicker, and they're a bigger cut, which means that it's just gonna look a lot more aggressive. That's a 4-inch slash cut tip there, as opposed to about your 3.5-inch factory tip. With that said, not a whole lot more to talk about with this. It is, again, just straight pipe, so what do you say we get to the install? All right, easy step for the install here. Just grab one of your sides. I'm gonna start here on our driver's side. Slide the hanger into the isolator above the tip. Helps to lubricate it. Once you have that in, make sure you have a clamp on the pipe side and then connect it to the factory exhaust that you cut off. Okay, from there, we can tighten down our clamp. Okay, repeat on the other side. Next, you can grab your tip, slide it on one side. They're not side specific, so just pick one. I'm gonna start here on our passenger. Once you like the orientation and the position it's in, grab a 14 socket and wrench and tighten it down. I'm gonna use a 14mm swivel socket to make life easier just because it's at a little bit of a tough angle. Repeat on the other side. From there, you're good to go. That's gonna wrap up my review and install for the Muffler Delete Axleback exhaust system with polished tips, available for the 15 to 17 GT. And again, you can get yours right here at AmericanMuscle.com.